Here's another drawing I've done and colored. This is a girl walking down the steps. So we're going to start with the main character. Because the background doesn't matter to me, I usually make the background up after I've made the main character, which is totally backwards. You should always set your background up and then have your main character develop on a separate piece of paper, and then get used to drawing your main character wherever they go. So that would be placing it in the background you've already created. That's the proper way of doing comics and drawing cartoons and or portraits, is you learn your character first. So this character, I'm not using any spheres or gesture drawing or anything because I kind of know my character. This is the same face and or figure as my daughter, so I know what she looks like. So I drew this young girl, and she's going to be holding an umbrella and a suitcase as she is going somewhere or arriving from somewhere. And I kind of haphazardly draw in stuff. This is all in pencil, so thankfully I can erase some ridiculous lines, and I made a lot of those. And I'm just going to have her basically outside in the sun and try and make myself remember where the light source is, because for some reason that's not significant in my mind. I have to make myself absolutely concentrate on where the light source is coming from. In real life, I get it. You know, the sunball's hot. Okay, understood. But when drawing, I'm more involved with what the character looks like, the backstory. I would rather start writing her story out or taking the character and making different facial expressions, or that to me is funner to quickly jot the character, even if it's a stick figure. So storyboarding is my thing deep down, and eventually I'll get to that in my little videos here, because it just doesn't fit well with me to draw environments with people or animals or creations in them. And I've done that a lot since I was young and really put a lot of effort into it, and it just never really stuck. Even if I got perspective right by a miracle and lighting source and shading, I would enjoy it more. But it's just so stagnant and still. And then I would have to work on adding motion and emotion and flow better to my, and there's so much work. And I would rather write a person's character's story out really quickly, jot it out, stick figure, write it out in sentences, make notes, and begin storyboarding a character and her environment and what happens to her. That to me is way more enjoyable. I especially like the underdog hero characters, where you can take just about anybody and transform them deep down in their soul into something that they have to do, which is the right thing to do. And it is, I guess, marvelous to me. And that's not a coined phrase for any kind of comic book company. It's just absolutely the way it feels, is to take somebody who's not super duper overpowered, not super duper spoiled with technology, super duper spoiled with money or fame or glory. I'm just not that type of person. That bothers me. To see someone who is so saturated in it and then turn around and think that they're going to be a good guy, that to me is a joke. So anyways, I'm drawing this young girl, and I'm going to probably say she is barely teenage year. I'm going to make her hair brown though, and basically send her on her way. She's going to do something fun or new and exciting in her life, and I immediately, like a dork, put the shadow right behind her. So that means the light source would be to my right behind my own shoulder, shining onto the white paper, the white-ish paper that I'm drawing on, which would be wrong. So yeah, okay. So as you watch, you'll see all the many changes I have to do to make this work. Eventually, all of that right there gets erased multiple times. Just bear with me. So when I get past this shadowing mistake entourage, I start inking the character and developing the background a little bit better, which, like I said, is the opposite of what you should do. You should have a separate page, develop your background, create your character on another page, and then, don't get into too much detail with your background. Then take a fresh page and begin, or cut out your character on the right-hand character page and lay it on the background page. That's also an option. And then take a photo of that or a scan. Looks a little bit funny if the page is wrinkled or things don't blend right, or if it's cut out wrong. But essentially what you should do is get to know your character so you can draw it without even looking at something. So you should be familiar with the character. This just takes a few tries, practices. Memorize the eye, the hair shape, the cheek and jawline. Forehead can be slightly manipulated in photos depending on the angle you're looking at the character's face, but essentially the right height of the character, shoulders, and skin tone, that's essentially what you want. The shape of the body. So it sounds like a lot, but if you really like your character that you're drawing, you'll remember what the character looks like. I knew somebody in art college that loved drawing monsters and hideously frightening things, and she had no problem doing that. It was like an instant, which essentially freaked me out because I usually draw the underdog heroes. I was like, nope. Nope. And that's kind of childish of me, but that was essentially a no. But she was good. I mean, she knew what she was doing, and it was natural, and she could sit there and draw the most frightening, scary beasts and demonic creatures, and she didn't seem like a bad person to me at all. But just the principality of it went against my whole principality of me. So I was like, yeah, okay, no. So essentially, one of my favorite things is to take ordinary common folk and have them do extraordinary things. Like they find the fire within themselves to go and do what is right. Especially when society is very much too lazy, too stubborn, too ignorant, too much against doing what's right. And this is the underdog story. And this character is either completely ignored, or she's an okay hangout, hey, nice to see you again now and then, or she's not Miss Popular, and she's essentially like all my other characters. She is a developing person. She's developing her personality. So now I've got some color on here. Did a quick color of the shirt and suitcase. That essentially is the theme, as she is sunny and bright, bouncy, I guess, spontaneous, happy. I guess happy is the word. Could be into sports, could be person who's good at math, or something Why did I color that shadow on the ground? Because, yes, when the sun shines through an umbrella, it does shine the color of the umbrella on the ground. But no, that's not the right direction. So now it looks like there's some kind of dirt blob with a weird rice hat on its head laying on the ground. Okay, so I'm gonna get over that. And then I began shadowing white pants. I did color them white with a white colored pencil, so that helped not absorb a lot of the shadow that I just put on there. Oh, there's me changing my mind and getting frustrated that the kneaded eraser's not working right. So I scolded myself and redid the lighting again and touched up, put some of the green umbrella reflection on her because if the sun goes through the umbrella, it should put some color reflection on her. And then I covered up my mistake, put a shrub over it, and started doing the rise and run of the stairs, and realized the points of each of these stair corners were not lining up. And so it started bothering me. The railing was okay, it was sort of in the right position. And this is what I mean by making your background first. So set up the whole background and then decide how tall your character is in the scene. And have your character designed on the side on the separate piece of paper. And then you can add it to that background or overlay it. See, this gets all weird real quick here with the handles. I did improve the railing so that it's more believable. And as soon as I adjust the top of the camera so that you can see all the way down the stairs, that'll make a little bit more sense. So yes, I found the points of the stairs. They didn't match up. And if somebody is actually doing proper measurements when laying concrete in the wood boxes for stairs, that's how stairs usually are made. They use little wood shapes. You can see the railings going off somewhere else. That's when you can make sure each step is the same length, height, and width. So going through this with a ruler and keeping my points straight, that should have been done in the first place. And I can critique myself all day long, but if I don't want to do it, I won't do it. So there's no point in scolding myself at this part of the drawing. So I used a gray that had a hint of what looked like green or yellow in it, and that made it look like concrete because it wasn't completely gray. It was had a little bit of earth and material color to it. So I made sure I didn't smudge my hand again and went over the rise of the stairs. I believe that's the rise, the facing wall of each step, the part where you don't step on. So I darkened that, put it in shadow, or perhaps the steps are wet because she's got an umbrella. Could be for rain, could be for too much sun. People use umbrellas for a couple different reasons. And then by this point, I just put the color down here and didn't care much about keeping it dark. There, now you can see all the way down the stairs. Should fix that top railing foot where it hooks into the ground. That is a little askew. And then I have no end to that railing. It looks like it just keeps going. So essentially the center of focus is the person walking down the stairs. And that's that. So I put in a silver chrome with the concrete gray on the railing, and then a basic basic gray to get that metal look. And then I went over the shrubs. I absolutely hate it when my pencils leave wood scratches in the paper. That's horrible. So I have to use a pocket knife to get rid of those. The pencil sharpener does not. And kind of rounded out that shrub there. Then I thought, okay, there's too much yellow, orange, and green all in one spot. Once I put some gray on the runs of the steps, the part you step on, then I'm going to go over that suitcase and change that color a little bit. And I like her having white pants for some reason. I'm sick of everybody wearing blue jeans all the time. And I didn't want to stick her in pink pants or black pants because that's just weird. And any other color wasn't kicking it for me, I guess. So I left her in white. Looks okay. I put a little bit of stitching on the side of the inner leg of those pants. And then just a hint of shadow. And then, yep, I went over the suitcase and the shoes with the brown. And added a secondary brown color a little bit later, I think. Yep. And by this point, I was erasing anything I had smudged over her white pants. So here is the final image. And I'll show you a few more images after that of other details in the picture, a little bit closer, and hand position on the suitcase. Fun stuff. Overall, this was a fun, spontaneous drawing, and I think it's pretty cute. Something I would keep. There's obvious little things to fix, but thanks for watching, and be sure to like and subscribe.